Natasha, and thank you so much for joining me today. Well, this one has the wow factor. This is one of my favorite cards I have made in some time. I am going to be using this die. All you need is an outline die. Now, this is the Statement Floral. I've had this for quite some time and I've used it in quite a few videos, but that doesn't mean that we're done with it because, wow, this is just one of my favorite dies. I fell in love with this one when I saw it, and I think it was only about $7 or so US, which, you know, is a good price point for a die. We know the craft supplies can definitely be pricey, but the more we use it, the better the investment, I say. So we want to make sure we get good use out of our items. Now, I have die cut out a couple of black cardstock, and this has the Stick It adhesive on the back. This is just a thin sheet of adhesive, perfect for die cutting. I find some of the double-sided sheets are just that little bit too thick for getting a clean cut. The other one I love is the Sizzix permanent adhesive sheets. They seem to die cut beautifully as well. And then I have taken a piece of acetate. Now, you don't need to be able to die cut this at all, so any is good. I only have one brand, I only have one type on me, so that's the one I'm going to use, which is perfect. This is the Hero Arts, and it is good for die cutting. It literally says it on the package. It die cuts beautifully, this acetate, so if you're wanting one for that, then that's good, but we don't need it for that for today. I am peeling off the release paper and putting down both of these onto one sheet. Now, I will actually cut this up later on, but there is no fussy cutting involved, so don't be afraid of that. And I actually run this through my die cutting machine, just, you know, not with too much pressure, but just to really adhere it down nicely. Then I'm going to turn this over. So this is the back side. And now I'm going to put another sheet of Stick It adhesive. So just any double-sided adhesive sheets here. Doesn't have to be thick, thin, it can be anything. If you don't have that, then you could definitely layer together some, you know, 1 inch wide or 4 inch wide pieces of double-sided adhesive tape. Then I run that through my die cutting machine just to get really good, you know, adherence. I really want it to adhere nicely, and then I'm going to cut these in half because I'm using these separately, and I just trim them up just a little bit. You know, excess acetate I will cut off because that just gets in the way, and it will be much easier later on when we pop these into our card. Now, I am going to be using some glitter today. I have glitter to use up in my stash. I have not bought any for a long time. And yeah, really I'm just using it up at this point. It's not something I use super often. But as I like to think, the most expensive supplies that we have are the ones that we've purchased and don't use. So if we use them up, you know, that's a good start. Now I'm going to do several colors on these, and I'm actually going to show you some different colored versions I made of this. I fell in love with this design and this, you know, this technique. I really did. I wasn't really enjoying myself. And so all I'm doing is peeling back some of the release paper. And then I have this little tool at the end of my pick tool. It's not necessarily a spoon, it's actually flat, but it is perfect for even like a popsicle stick would work fine here, you know, just to get a little bit out at a time. And I'm just peeling back, so only the foliage part of this, because there's sort of three flowers, I would say, and then some foliage and leaves and things out the side. And I decided to make that different. Now, don't be put off if you look at the front and think, interesting, you know, not great, but not bad, but not great. Just keep going. And so I'm going to do the foliage. If you want to, by all means, pull back the whole release paper, go for gold with one color, or just mix them all together. Go that way. I quite like doing it this way as well, because I will actually tip off the silver, the excess silver glitter, and put it back into my little jar, just to, you know, save up what I can. But if you just go for gold and your colors all mix, then that's okay too. That's all good. I'm going to pull off the rest of this release paper, and this is where I'm going to come in with my blues. And I have another one to show you at the end of this where I used reds for the, it sort of looks like a rose, I guess, to me in the center. But for this one, I'm going dark blue. Now you can see, just using a little tool, you know, it is slowly does it, but it wasn't that slow. It went pretty jolly quick. And I can kind of be pretty precise with where my glitter is going, honestly. And because this is all onto the double-sided adhesive, it's all going to stick in there. And I give it a little press down with my tool, and it's all sticking in there really nicely. So this whole back panel here is sticky. And remember that the black die cut is actually on the other side. So that's important here, because I think one of my main things when I send something with glitter, when I put glitter on a card, I don't think many recipients love being covered in glitter with their card. So we want to trap the glitter. We want to secure the glitter. And so here is a great way that I love doing it. I can use up my supplies and use up what I have, but, you know, we keep the recipient happy too. So I'm going to do this 2 times for this card. So I'm doing exactly the same thing. This time I have really sped this up. The last time was a little bit more realistic, whereas this time, yep, I've definitely sped this up just to get the process going. But I can tip a bit back in, and then I can pull it all off and start doing my darker blue, and then I did a lighter blue for the other 2. So pretty speedy process, and as I said, any double-sided tape is going to work here. This doesn't have to be the stick-it one, but as I said, it's just what I have on hand, and I do love the stick-it one or the Sizzix permanent sheets. Those are both my go-to when it comes to die cutting. Now here is the die and a card front panel. I am going to put 2 of these dies on, but depending on what your design is, you might just want 1, or you could use this die if you have this one, and you could just use it once. That would look lovely too, but for this layout, I'm going to use 2. And I think this card is one of those ones that just has the wow factor. That's the reply I'm getting when people find this one in my stash. As I said, I went to town and I ended up having a really good time making some of these because they were just stunning to look at once you're finished. So I am not going to use these die cuts, but I am going to make sure to keep them because these are perfect. So I pop them in my stash or put them in the back of your packaging so that next time you are ready to go. We are just using the negative of what is left there. And you can see those gorgeous die cuts up the top, ready for a different project. Now this is the point, before we start doing things to this card front, we want to think, right, do the stamping that we need to do. So I'm going to stamp on, this is the happy birthday or big birthdays, I can't remember, from Pinkfresh Studios. I will link all of the supplies that I have used in this video down below. You can sometimes just press that little down arrow and it will show you the supplies, but I'm sure that you have things in your stash. I'm sure that you have a die cut. I'm sure you have beautiful sentiments, but just in case you are wanting to follow up on one of these in particular, or you think this would be a good investment for your stash, then I always have everything linked down below. So checking that it stamps beautifully, because I've already done the die cutting here and I don't want to, muck it up at this point if I can help it. Stamp it out in some beautiful VersaFine Onyx Black. Now I will tell you that this Onyx Black ink, I have had it for a really long time and I barely ever re-ink it. Well, the other day it occurred to me that maybe it was getting dry and I was re-inking a few of my other VersaFine inks, and let me just tell you, it is like brand new magic. I had forgotten how beautiful and dark and pristine that stamps on the first go. So that's a little tip to remind yourself that sometimes re-inking them is a great idea. Now, this is where our glitter comes in. So at this point, I'm actually going to have the black die cut is face up. So at the point, the glitter is facing downwards. And you saw that I put adhesive on the back of my card front panel, and this is going to line up perfectly with our card front. And look how stunning this looks already. I love this. So here we go again. I pull off all of that adhesive and the glitter at the moment is facing downwards onto that scrap paper. And so we have the black die cut is facing upwards. And this is obviously going to line up perfectly because it's the same die cut and so easy. And then just look at the wow factor. This is gorgeous. Now at this point, trim off any excess that you need to, any excess acetate. And all I do is I just put a good amount of double-sided tape. This happens to be the Pink and Main tear tape because you can tear it really easily. I just make sure I've got a good amount of it on my card base, and then you can line these up. If you want to, of course, you could have a feature panel, like something a little bit smaller, rather than an entire card front. That would also be a great look. But I just take off the whole thing, And if you're not sure, add in some liquid glue as well if you don't like lining things up, or you can do my trick where you just take off the little tabs. For double security, I tend to do a little bit of both. I tend to do a little bit of liquid glue and I tend to do some double-sided tape because the tape will grab and the glue will make this very secure. That glitter is going nowhere. So then we seal it all in and press it down, and you want to make sure that everything is nice and secure. And this is a simple but gorgeous card. I mean, I just sat there for so long playing with this, and it's a little bit hard because of my filming lights for you to see, but it is gorgeous. Now, you could leave it there for sure. I thought this needed a little border, so I'm going to take a fine line black marker and just go around with my ruler. You could do a wonky border here. I think that would also look gorgeous. You might have some stamps that have like faux stitching that would also look gorgeous, but I've just gone super simple. And then let me show you, as I said, I did a few of these, so let me show you just how changing up the colors can also look gorgeous. This is red and green and silver glitter, and absolutely a great fun technique for you to try. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. I loved making these, and I hope it has given you an idea to use up some of that glitter you have. Thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I super look forward to seeing you in the next one. Thanks, we'll see you then. Bye.